This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater West for Westfest.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Lucas Bailey. I'm on the board of Theater West. I kind of oversee some of the artistic things that go on here at Theater West.
Could you tell me a little bit about the workshops that are going on right now?
Yeah, this is definitely, Westfest is kind of the heart of what Theater West is. We are a workshop-based company, so this is kind of an example of all of our writers and everything who get a chance to kind of put their perspective up on the stage. It's a really great insight to kind of all the writers and what's important to them and the material that they produce, and it's a chance to get them up on stage. There are shows, full-length productions that sometimes come through this that actually end up as main stage productions within the company throughout the year. So it's a really great opportunity to get your material up and seen by a lot of different people and see how it reacts.
Well, tonight the one I liked the most was actually the Waiting for Godot one. It's actually Waiting for Godot. Come on. You guys just kind of rewrote it a little bit because it's actually very intriguing. And I think that'll actually be continued. Probably someone's going to develop the full length. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I think it's so, like you said, Waiting for Godot-ish. And it's taken on a Western take here. So I think it's got some definite potential to kind of develop even further and really become and blossom into this really fun Western kind of take on it.
Yeah, so what can my viewers expect to see up in the future? I mean, obviously they're not going to be able to see these, so I can't comment on what's going to be happening in the future. What do you think they'll be seeing in the upcoming shows?
So in the upcoming shows, you're going to have a little bit of difference. We have it's kind of a smorgasbord of everything, actually. There's not really one thing that I can say it's going to be a night of this or a night of this. It's really a night of experiences of all these personal, different kind of views on what's going on out in the world. You'll have some fun pieces, you'll have some sad pieces, you'll have some full lengths coming up.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having us, and thanks for coming out to Theater West.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Steve Neville. I'm an actor for 35 years, done a lot of television, done a lot of theater, done a lot of film, and just really enjoying being back to my roots, and wrote this play after thinking about it for 30 years. It was actually a piece that was suggested to me by my mentor, Herbert Berghoff, who was the original director of Waiting for Godot back in the 50s. And we were on a movie together in the late 70s called There's Lips, Those Eyes, that I'm sure nobody remembers, it with Frank Langella. And we spent a lot of nights talking about theater and Waiting for Godot and all that kind of stuff. And at one point I said to him, you know, this would make a great Western. Instead of the hobos, have them be two saddle tramps. He said, Steve, you should really think about that. You should maybe do that. He didn't realize I was going to rewrite Samuel Beckett. But this 30 years later, this is the play that's happened. And I'm so glad to be doing it and doing it with my pal Bill Ceres from Theater West, and it's been a real joy to do it. So it's a workshop production. We're doing it tonight, we're doing it tomorrow night, Saturday, and then we're doing it Sunday afternoon, and we'll see where it goes from there. But it's been a real joy, real pleasure to do it.
Do you have any kind of a trepidation? Because, I mean, if you were trying to rewrite a mediocre piece, you might do better, but you're going to try to rewrite Waiting for Godot.
Oh, my God. I could sort of had to really not think about that. We had a wonderful, one of the great actresses in Los Angeles here, Cress Mirsky, came last night, and she came backstage and said, Steve, I got to tell you, Waiting for Godot is my favorite play of all time, and I had real trepidation when I sat down and realized that this is what you were doing. You're doing an homage or, basically a reimagining of a Waiting for Godot in the West. But she said, you guys pulled it off, and a lot of it has to do with the cast and just the understanding of the piece. And it's funny, it's a Western. It's definitely allegorical, but the problem with Waiting for Godot for a lot of people, even though it's a great play, is that it's almost like it doesn't have enough grounding to it. You don't know where these guys came from. You don't know where they're going. And in this piece, you know that they've come from town, that they're waiting for Godsford, that they witnessed a hanging, which they may or may not have participated in. They're not sure. Their recall is kind of a little hazy, but they're so dependent on Godsford, and he's going to be here, that they can't really move from their camp where they've situated themselves.
I also think the American West is the perfect place to set it because it's infinite possibilities. That's the thing that opens up. That's clearer with it set in the West. The American West is it. We have these two guys and they're stuck, but they could go anywhere.
Right.
There's any direction is open to them, and that's what I think. What is the comedy and the tragedy of the piece is that they don't make a move, and yet any move is possible.
And you are?
I'm Bill Ceres. I've been an actor for 30 years, a member of this company for 25 years. I'm also a teaching artist, and that's who I am. I've done movies and television, and I was honored when Steve gave me the script. He said, "Go home and read this." And I think I called you the next day, right? And I said, "Oh, we've got to do this. This is amazing." It was so exciting to read it and to think that Steve thought of me, which was really nice. And we read it together, and we went back and forth, and we whether we were going to do it in this festival or not, and we just decided to go for it.
And our director is Arden Teresa Lewis, who's pretty amazing. She's an amazing talent, and she's moving a little bit more into film now. But she has an ability to really deconstruct a moment and then construct it again and make it even more special than it possibly could be. I told her she should be directing multicam comedy because she's that phenomenal. And we were really, really lucky to get her for this piece. She was doing 2 other pieces in this festival, and I gave her the piece, and it's 45, 50 minutes. It's a long piece, and she said, "I want to do it." So we were very happy that she was available.
To persuade her to join our troupe, because she really opened up some parts of it, especially the ending.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, as for the end, because no one's going to see this again, this is, unless it's taken up, and I actually think you guys will take it up.
Yeah.
But basically, my question is about the ending. Whenever I see Waiting for Godot, obviously Godot doesn't show up, or Godot does not show up, right? Some people think it's actually Pozo. He's actually Godot, and they just don't know who he is.
Right.
Yeah. That was the hook that Godot actually shows up. Now there's a question. I mean, there are sequences in the piece that are cut from this. This is actually a 70-minute piece, and we cut it down to about 47, 48 minutes, where John, the John Carradine character, the old character, which in Godot is the boy, could be construed as a version of Godsford, who has come to warn them, to really give them a push to get out and move on. And of course they don't. And so it's like it's abstract in a way, but it does have a grounding to it. Godsford could be real. He could be a ghost rider in the sky. We're not quite sure. But the ending really leaves it up in the air. He's traveling possibly toward Good Hope, on the trail of Patsy and young Finn, who is lucky in the actual Godot, or he may be traveling away from them. We don't know if they're doomed or if they're not. But the good thing about those 2 characters, Patsy and Finn, is that they have moved, as opposed to Person and Elvin, who are stuck in their own situation and can't move.
But I have hope for Person Elvin. I do, because that's when Godsford leaves, and they rail against him. That's a shift, I think, and that changes it. And while our play ends with them still there, in my heart, I think there's a moment where you think, well, maybe tomorrow they'll finally get up the nerve to maybe they'll finally get up the nerve to make a go of it and to move on themselves.
You have more hope than I do. But I like your take on it.
One more question for you. Basically, some people think Waiting for Godot is a story about Jesus, that Didi and Gogo are actually the disciples who were during the crucifixion and all that. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the interpretations. Some people think it's about nothing. It's just nonsense and all that. Exactly. So did that affect your writing it on?
It wasn't the prime motivation. The prime motivation was really to deal with people's ability to affect their own future, their own outcome, as opposed to really what, I mean, there are a lot of biblical, dealings that we have within the play, but the prime thing is really how do you affect your own future by acting upon it rather than being a passive agent. And so that's really what I was trying to put forth, is that we can affect our own destiny if we actually do something about it. If we leave it to somebody like Godsford or Godot, we're never going to go anywhere. So I hope it's a positive message for people that watch it, you know. But I also hope it's really, really entertaining because I love westerns. I've always loved westerns. Here's our director right now.
Say my name?
Yes.
I heard my name.
Yes, Arden
How are
Teresa
you, sir?
Lewis.
It's nice to see you again.
Who was our director, and we were just singing your praises that you actually
Then I have to run away.
that you actually gave us time to do this. So we're very, very happy. She's running away right now.
So you don't think maybe it's also a modern day version of, say, religion, where the old time religion, because Godot was written a long time ago.
Right.
It was looked at a different way, but now it's more of an that you have to kind of understand religion, kind of like, you know, we're in a postmodern and all that.
Yeah, I think that's a real take on it. Definitely. There's elements of religion definitely within the piece, and primarily I wanted to use religion as a backdrop. It's kind of a mosaic, and the Bible and the story of Job, who, you know, has a repentance that he has to deal with, and the same with these guys, you know. So, but primarily it's a comment on really, you know, forging your own destiny in life, as I'm sure they had to do in the West, you know. So.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the greatness of the setting of it being in the West is of course there's all that possibility, but there's also all that bleakness. There's nothingness all around them, and making it as it's. You might believe in God, and maybe God controls your destiny, but if you don't stand up and find the water, and you don't stand up and clear the land, you know, you're not going to last too very long. It doesn't matter, you know, your faith in God will only take you so far in that environment. And I think that's one of the questions I think that Steve raises in his text that might be slightly different than Waiting for Godot.
One more question as an actor. I've spoken to a lot of actors, and they say that the one piece they want to do before they die is Waiting for Godot. That's one thing they really want to do. How do you take upon that? Is this good enough for you? Do you feel this was a little better? Do you feel that you still want to do Waiting for Godot before you die?
Well, it's kind of a tough question, because yes, this is an homage to Waiting for Godot, and it's really but it isn't that play. You know, this is its play, and it stands on its own. And I feel incredibly honored that I was asked to be a part of it, and I do hope it goes on. I hope we can move forward with it. Yeah, I'd like to do Waiting for Godot before I die. I think that would be great. I think that would be great, but I think it's different. What I brought to this was because of what Steve created, and I think what I would bring to that will be from, you know, Beckett's words, and it'll just be different. It'll be different. And I think as an actor, you want to play all the great parts before you die. You know, I'd like to do Lear, and I'd like to do Hamlet. I mean, I'd like to do, you know, those are all things I'd like to have an opportunity to do. There's so many. You know, the list is long. I definitely want to do Long Day's Journey into Night before I die, too.
Okay, well, so hope that answered it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being. I really enjoyed your piece a lot.
Thank you so much. I really so appreciate it, and thank you for coming. And yeah, I hope it goes on. I have no aspirations to do Waiting for Godot. I've done this, and I've seen Jack McGowan and Barry McGovern and those guys do it, and there's just nobody better that could do it than them. So I am very, very happy. And I got to see Herbert Berghoff do Krapp's Last Tape, so it's like that's a high bar for me. So I think I'm okay in the West.
I think you would have made a pretty good go-go.
Well, thank you. Maybe a good lucky. You can't keep me from talking a lot, so it's.
Well, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Corrine Shore. Moved to LA about 10 years ago from Minnesota, and what about me? I studied at a small college there, and then, you know, just got the rest of my training on the stage and on the sets once I got here. I played Sarah in The Homecoming by Gary Kluger. She is coming home after being estranged from her family for about 8 years. She had been disowned and sort of cast away based on her love for a woman, and she is coming home after the death of her father and trying to reconnect.
So, could you tell me a little bit about this workshop here?
Well, there's several workshops here. There's the acting workshop, and there's the writer's workshop, and a musical comedy workshop. But the pieces that you saw tonight are basically developed inside the writer's unit, and they get rewritten many times. Then they get memorized, and the actors get put them into the acting workshop. And then after a long process, they make it to this festival and go from there.
Great. Well, this piece isn't going to be seen again, but a question you might be able to tell my viewers: what can they expect to see in the upcoming shows?
In each week, there's a different lineup, and what's really great about it is it's the first time that these writers and actors have gotten together to put the work on the stage for an audience. So it's really important for their development to see how an audience responds to it. So it's being a part of the process.
I kind of liked your piece. Again, I liked them because they dealt with a lot of deep issues and all that. You know, it kind of challenged me intellectually and all that. So that's my take from. Well, you think the rest of the pieces will be like that?
Yes, I do. The writers here are very diverse in what they think about and what they write about, and so you never know what each piece is going to bring up.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Katie Adler. I have been a member of Theater West for a few years. I've lived in LA for about 6 years and started studying Meisner technique when I came out here. Studied for about 4 years with William Alderson, and then I became a member here shortly after, and then have just become involved. And I've been in a couple productions. The last production I was in was Jim Beaver's Verdigris, and then I was in Charlie Mount's Against the Wall. And now I'm doing Westfest. I play Jody in Gary Kluger's one act called The Homecoming, and it's directed by Arden Lewis. Jody is the sister who's stayed back in town with her parents, and her sister have a very close relationship, but have been estranged for quite some time, just due to circumstances of the sister coming out about her homosexuality, and the parents not really agreeing wholeheartedly with that decision or her lifestyle. So she in turn, Sarah, the sister, leaves and comes back on the day that the father passed away. And the two sisters, they haven't seen each other in quite some time, seeing each other for the first time about 12 hours after the funeral. So it's a lot of heightened stakes, a lot of feelings, pent-up feelings, and it all comes out when they see each other in that moment. So
I liked your character in a sense that it's not like the leading character where you do all good, you can't do anything wrong, you're the central focus. Your character had more layers to it, more complexity. And but what are your comments on that?
Thank you. Well, I think that's just life. I think we're all complex human beings, and I think what made it so interesting as an actress to dive into this is Gary's writing. There's so much there in the material, and I was more interested in the things that are off the page. More so like the dynamics of their relationship was really important for me to convey in this. It was more than the lines. The whole thing is just about these two sisters that have had this strong relationship their whole lives, and then kind of the sadness, almost not even just mourning the loss of the father, but mourning the loss of their relationship during that time of them not speaking, and really just wanting my sister back, and especially when she comes back, trying to put those pieces back together to make everything right. So I think with that comes just a lot of complex behavior and the dynamic in the two of them, coming together finally.
Well, this is a workshop, so again, this piece isn't going to be playing again, but I really liked it. I really liked the piece.
Thank you. That means a lot to us. We worked hard over the last couple weeks, and months actually, to try to piece it together, and so I appreciate your kind words. It's very nice.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Oh, fantastic. Lisa Robin. Yeah, I went to college at UC Irvine, and very active in the theater scene in Los Angeles, actor studio, some film and TV, commercials.
Great.
I played in Wavelength, the daughter in Wavelength.
Yeah, that was actually a very interesting piece. Was it about philosophy? Was it about religion? Was it about, what was it about?
It was about one's relationship with one's mother.
You did talk about philosophy and religion a little bit, though.
Yeah, well, it's all wrapped up. It's all tied up together, isn't it?
So, what can you comment about this the Theater West festival here?
Diverse, a lot of talent.
And what can some of my viewers expect to see if they come?
Stuff to make you think, stuff to make you laugh, and stuff to make you cry.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Westfest will be playing at Theater West from November 6th to November 29th. For more information, go to theaterwest.org or freetheatertickets.tumblr.com.